Welcome to Toffee Review, your source for all things Everton. Gerry, Max, Terry. Yeah, trio, rocking it. Starting 11 segment for match versus Newcastle. What will Marco Silva do? Starting with Max. Max, I think this is a weird one. I really do. I don't know what's gonna happen. I wrote down I don't want to be a flippy flopper on this one. I really don't. So I'm gonna try to be definite. So Max, what do you got?
Well, I think we'll go a bit more into discussion in a bit. I'll just read out what I put down. Jordan Pickford in goal, Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Luca Dean, Andre Gomez, Garner Gay, Sigurdsson, Bernard, Richarlison, Lookman.
Okay. So if you've been paying attention, Lookman is the new name. All right. Terry, are you giving us the same lineup that you gave us for this weekend?
Yep, exact same as Max just there. Same team, one change, Lookman for Walcott, and we'll discuss now why that is.
I am going to predict. I'm so borderline, guys, on unchanged team or Lookman in. I think the only reason Silva would not start Walcott is if he's hurt. If he is injured, I think Lookman does get the nod. But I think if Walcott is good enough to play, I think he'll start him. I don't know. Just because it's just kind of his MO right now. Silva seems like if Everton plays well, he keeps the same lineup.
I had this discussion, obviously, while I was watching the derby. I was getting wound up with Walcott, and the fella next to me was as well. And he turned round, and he was like, oh, why have we even got him? What does he offer us? Well, what does he even do? I thought, well, that's a bit harsh, because when we brought him in, he was brought in for the purpose that he has pace. No one else had pace at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like we need pace. We've accumulated that from the signings that we've brought, and I think that the team that we've developed now is it's physically a lot more capable than what we were under Sam Allardyce. So Walcott isn't Walcott's not a luxury anymore, so to speak. Lookman's there, and he could arguably cause as much damage and be better than Walcott. In
a different way.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It all depends on how Silva wants to play it. Does Silva want somebody to run behind and to kind of go around the outside? Because Lookman's not that guy. Lookman's not like a straight 50-yard dash kind of guy, which is Walcott is.
Look, he's ball to feet, isn't he? Lookman wants the ball to feet, and he wants to dance around people. But he seems like he's not as selfish as he has been in the past. Lookman, he's always heads up and he's looking for that pass. And I think, with Richarlison there, that would do Richarlison the world of good if he had someone that could, put it on a plate for him, so to speak. In that sense, one point that I did want to raise, do you think everyone's going to be fully fit for this game?
I got two players I'm worried about. I'm worried about Walcott. I'm worried about Ghana. Ghana doesn't fake injuries to shithouse. You know what I mean? Like yesterday during the derby, he went down. That's an issue.
Mm.
Who starts if Ghana is not in?
James McCarthy.
Has he been on the bench anytime recently?
No, but he's the most.
I would rather start him though.
Thing for Ghana. Schneiderlin, you could say, but I think the way this team plays and the way they want someone with energy and defensive and good tackling. I think James McCarthy would be the one to step in. I've thought for a while that he'll be the sort of secret back pocket option for December, McCarthy, because nobody's even paying him any mind, and he could, much like last season, he'll come in once he's back from injury, and we'll remember that he actually is a good defensive midfielder. And I think if Garner's not fit, it'll probably be Davis because it might be a little bit too early for McCarthy, but I think we'll start seeing McCarthy in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
But Max, you ask a great question.
Yeah.
Because I think if Walcott's not in, I think it's a no-brainer. Lookman comes in. Here's another thing to consider, though. One of the main reasons that people say Walcott plays over Lookman is because Walcott's defensive work. Now, I've criticized him in the past because I don't think I've seen him walk or jogging back when he needed to be sprinting back on defense. But that's what everybody says, is that he does put in more work on the defensive end, helping out, than Lookman does. However, if Newcastle sits back with 3 in the back and wing backs with his essentially 5 in the back, do we really need to worry as much about so this might be the game to start Lookman if we want to, you know what I mean?
I think a big part of why Lookman, I mean, I'll just preface this with saying I think Walcott's a really good player. He's a great player. He's perfect for us at the minute. He'd gone really stale at Arsenal, and although he came in and he had a big impact because, as Max said, he was the only player with pace, I actually don't think he's had as big of a dip as people think. But the problem is there's another player who plays his position who's playing really well at the same time, and it's just the two things put together. Lookman's playing really well whenever he's coming on, and Walcott's not playing at the level we've seen him play before. And I think the only reason that Walcott hasn't stepped out for Lookman is because Silva did want to change a winning team. And I think now that, even though it was incredibly harsh and the performance was good, it might now be the step to go, well, now that we've lost, I think I can make that change, and no one could argue with it. And on top of that as well, he had a bit of a knock, and it was only a couple of days ago. If we'd have been playing our next game next weekend, maybe Walcott stays in, but I think this is the perfect sort of opportunity for Silva to bring in Lookman and say, right, well, you've earned your opportunity to play ahead of you've been hurt, and we've just lost the last game. In you go, impress me. But I don't think Lookman will get as long in the team as Walcott is. I mean, well, I'll rephrase that. He won't get as many chances as Walcott has got, because I think if Lookman comes in, he doesn't hit the level that he's been hitting. If he has a bad game, he'll come straight back out. So it's up to Lookman to go in there and stay in there and show why he should be starting over an experienced player like Walcott.
So in order to not be flippy flopper, I'm just going to flat out say I'm going to pull a Terry, and I'm going to say I'm going with Walcott, but I'm going to do what Terry did this weekend and say I actually think it's going to be Lookman this time. Like, my gut is yeah. So I'm going to stick with Walcott because that's the first name I wrote down. But I think there is ample reasoning to believe that Silva will go with Lookman this Wednesday. I think that was a really good time to go with him. It is a great time to go with him for the reasons that all three of us have stated. Yeah. This is a tough one. Bring up more conversation. Bernard has stretches where he looks really devastating and fantastic, and then there are other stretches where he gets near the 18 and he either just gives the ball to the opposition, or his pass is just blocked. That happened a few times during this past game. But I think he's still meriting a starting spot. You guys agree?
Yeah. He did himself no harm with his performance in the derby. He had been having some lacklustre performances, but he played quite well in the derby, and he's also got the benefit of forming a really strong partnership with Dean. So it's a lot harder to drop him because it affects another player so much, whereas Walcott and Coleman haven't got that sort of partnership going, not to the same degree anyway. They both sort of play in their own way and just sort of linking up down the side, whereas Dean and Bernard are like a package at the minute. So I think it's harder to drop Bernard, or he has to play a lot worse than it is to drop Walcott.
Yeah, my initial kind of thing with Bernard was, obviously, for like the example with the Southampton game, he come off the bench and he made a really good impact. Started that game against Leicester, made a really good impact. And then for the game that he started, his influence started to like wane a little bit. But just to reiterate what Terry said, that Derby performance, it was really good. He was like a live wire, and he was creating chances. Now you take that step back and you look at the back four that Liverpool had. Obviously Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, the fullback, are really on form at the minute. Van Dijk, who I probably think the best centre-half in the league, and Gomez, who is excellent as well. Compare that to what's going to be, say, a bank of five, maybe not as athletic or as gifted defenders. It'd be perfect for Bernard, and maybe could be looking at getting his first goal.
So, are we going to see DCL or Tosin in this one, in a way to, in a kind of a, I guess, our way of getting Richarlison out wide, possibly, because that's the thing. If we end up tossing Richarlison out wide, he'll be up against DeAndre Yedlin, and although he's the starting right back for the U.S. national team, he still makes mistakes just like everybody. He's a small, short, quick guy. All right, and that does match up, all right, against Bernard. However, I feel like somebody like Richarlison might be a little bit different. That might give you a different type of a matchup against him. You do that, you throw DCL or Tosin up top. You think we could see that in the last 20 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, we're more likely to see it from the bench. I don't see Tosin or Calvert.
I don't either.
But to be honest, Max said something off camera about it. I think it was Max. It may have been you, Gerry. I don't know. You own up, whichever one said it. But that you feel like Calvert-Lewin might be the first choice.
Max said that earlier.
Was that Max? I don't necessarily agree. I think that's more a case away from home because Calvert-Lewin's quicker than Tosin, and he's probably a little bit better in the air. So defensively, he's like a defensive substitution, if you like, because he holds the ball up there and he can pressure the back four. But I think Tosin is still when you need a goal, is the first choice striker to bring on, just because he's a lot better on the ball. So I think Tosin will probably be the sub who comes on first if we're chasing the game.
Certainly hope so.
Yeah, I want to see him get more minutes. I really do. I guess it depends on whether Silva feels like a tactical change is necessary. Is it a situation where we throw Tosin up top to where we've got somebody who maybe can hold up play a little bit better, because he is our best hold up striker.
No, I don't see root and branch change. We played well. If it'd be different if we went there and just collapsed, or the previous game we played terribly and it didn't work and it was disjointed. We played a really good game and were undone by a freak goal. You can't. I just don't see how you can change the formation or the massive changes to the personnel after that performance. Not many of the players deserve to be dropped, if any, really.
I think you might see something like that happen if it's still 0-0 going into 75th minute.
Yeah,
I think that's what he'll tend to do. Is I love the fact that Silva will change up things like that. I got really frustrated in the Martinez years with us not changing enough, not changing tactics in the middle of the game. It was very frustrating. Silva has no problem with that. You know what? Let's switch to 4-4-2. Let's see what happens. He does it. Yeah, I miss Tosin though. I do.
Yeah, I like Tosin.
Yeah, the fan favours, isn't he? I think that's something that's been proved from his absence from the team. That there's a real fondness for him amongst the fans.
Just like
his attitude helps so much.
Just like I think James McCarthy will be a bit of a back pocket player for the manager over December. I think Tosin will. I think where around the Boxing Day games and stuff like that, when you every 2 days, I think that's when you'll start to see Tosin start, because you can't just play the same team every week. I think that's when you'll start to see Tosin's back in the team from the start, because Richarlison only played 2 days ago, or you might see Tom Davis as well at that time. Definitely Kurt Zouma. You'll start to see more of these faces. Not a complete, we've got a second 11 type thing, but Tosin is one of the first 3 or 4 players to come in, I think, when refreshes are needed.
And he scores in the snow.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Ah, good time.
No, not good time. That's still bloody awful.
Yeah.
Hey, watching a goal go through at that moment felt wonderful.
Yeah, still. Just
because
last season as a whole.
It's like being in a dark room and somebody shines a little pin light. You're like, oh my God! I saw something! What was that? So, yeah. All right, guys. So I guess that's it for our starting 11 segment. We'll see what happens if for some reason Ghana and Walcott are banged up. We'll see. But anyway, if you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We're crawling our way toward 1,400 subs, and that's thanks to you. So we appreciate it. Please check out Max's Twitter. He'll kind of let you know where he's appearing next. He's on Sky Monday. Of course, this will be coming out on Tuesday. So check out his Twitter. Maybe he'll have a link to tell you where to go to see more him. But he also shows up on the Toffee Blues website. Lots of written analysis there. The guy, he's just a busy guy. Terry's busy as well. Shows up on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. So look on his Twitter for that. But also some, witty quips. He's full of those. Terry's looking at me right now, like I do not bring the wit. Never. It's
sometimes.
But yeah, that's it. This is our final video of this little series. Switch on over to the podcast now if you want to hear If You Know Your History, the Everton-based quiz program that will pit Terry versus Max. Cage match, Toffee's knowledge. Looks like that. So check that out. Yeah. Other than that, if you don't, we'll miss you. Tear. You had me at hello, Tear. So I guess that's it, guys. Thanks so much. On to quizzing. So, bye.